It's DTS 136 and Hotfix 2502 is live, but it brought with it some sort of strange unintended consequences.
You're listening to Destiny, the show.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to Destiny, the show, the Destiny news podcast to keep you, the Guardian, ahead of the curve in the world of Destiny. I'm BBKDRAGOON, joined as always by my great co-host, Ditty. What is up, dude? Are you ready to talk about this patch?
It's been a long time coming. Finally, we get New Balance Pass in Destiny. Finally get to use some different weapons in the Crucible and actually do a little bit better than intended. So yeah, I'm enjoying this. It comes with on a rainy day here, so it's nice to stay inside and actually play some balance changes, Crucible.
Yeah, thank you to our listeners who are a little bit patient. We decided to wait to put this show out so that we could go through the patch notes and also give ourselves a little bit of time to monitor the community reaction and see how players are handling this thing. You know, what they're saying, what they're liking, what they're not liking so far. We're going to keep the theme of reserving a lot of judgment until Ditty and I have had like a full week or two on the patch to really report back what we truly feel. Now, some of these changes, especially when we get to the Hungering Blade stuff, you can look at it and offer some critique or criticism without having to play those changes to death. But from the outside in, I'm really excited. There's some fresh stuff happening. So let's not waste time. Let's just get into it. All right, so Hotfix 2502 just went live this morning. The big change up front is the special ammo economy. So they've adjusted special ammo in all game types. I believe Mayhem is the one exception to this that they didn't indicate in the patch. I think Mayhem stayed the same.
That's correct.
Cool. Players start Crucible matches with special ammo, but when you die, you lose that special ammo. Sidearms are not affected by this change. To make up for this change, special ammo crates now appear every 60 seconds. That is the initial timing, and also after the first set of cases spawn. Special ammo crates are shared with allies within 75 meters. It used to be 100 meters, so right, if somebody opened a case of special ammo, a teammate, you used to be like within 100 meters, fine, you can pick up that brick. Now it's 75, so you gotta be a little bit closer, and there you go. In Mayhem, totally unchanged. So this right on the front of it is like primary centric, primary focused. What will this translate into? I don't know. I think this is one of those changes you and I are going to have to spend weeks playing before we can make up our mind. But let's get this out of the way. It's huge. This is a huge change.
Yeah, this is definitely something that will drastically affect how special ammo economy is used in Crucible, and I think this kind of promotes more team play because you have to be closer to the crates when you pull special ammo, and timing special ammo crates is even more important now because it's coming up every minute or so, and starving the enemy team of that special ammo is going to be way more important because people lose it on death now, the special ammo on death. So if you don't have special ammo, you're not using your special weapons, and if your primary gunplay is not up to par, then the other team who's controlling the special ammo a little bit better is going to have a little bit more of an edge there.
The era of the sidearm has begun.
The era of the sidearm as well, yeah.
Bring those back out. Now, a couple of interesting changes here to the elimination game type. First of all, the round time limit has been reduced to 90 seconds, down from 2 minutes, and we'll touch on that in a second. Players only start with special ammo in the first round of elimination game types. Special ammo timing is 30 seconds on the initial spawn and then 45 seconds after that respawn. Special ammo is wiped at the beginning of subsequent rounds. So when you play Trials, only the first round everybody spawns in with special ammo. But after that, it's a fresh start for everybody. I love the shorter round time limit to 90 seconds as well. I think you're going to see a lot less camping and players having to get towards that B hill more often and perhaps pick up the pace of things, especially on maps that are notorious for being slow paced, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking Pantheon right off the bat, you know, those long sight lines.
Burning Shrine.
Also, I love how they're trying to speed up the game, you know, shorter map times, and So for each round, you have the initial special ammo spawn, and then you have one more special ammo crate spawn before the time limit is reached. And I think that's great. I'm going to expect to see more No Land Beyond sidearm combos in Trials moving forward, because Sniper No Land Beyond is really, really good. It was unchanged by this patch. And the sidearm, is going to have that special ammo available all the time in every round. So I think that's going to be a little bit more frequent in Trials.
Encouraging map movement for those people who want to get special ammo, though.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's move on to the hand cannons. At first, we didn't know what to think of this. We loved the idea of them increasing that initial accuracy, but hated the idea of reducing the base range. So here's the changes. They significantly increased the initial accuracy of hand cannon shots, returning to like year one and launch values. They reduced the base range, however, by 5. So it used to be 40 meters, it's down to 35 meters. They reduced the aim assist and the magnetism at longer ranges, and they reduced minimum damage after fall off from 50% to 33%. So what all that mumbo jumbo means is essentially the damage fall off is more noticeable in your damage values. The aim assist and the magnetism is not as effective at longer distances, yet your first shot is not going to have hardly any element of bloom affecting its trajectory whatsoever. Now the base range pushed down across the board for all of those hand cannons. Ditty, you sent me a video of Triple Rec doing testing of hand cannons, and pretty surprising results, yes?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Triple Rec is a PvP community member in Destiny. He's mainly known for his PvP antics. He's very good, top 1%. And the video that we're talking about is him streaming hand cannon test bullets, whether or not after that initial shot, if sequential shots from the hand cannon at range just disappear. But he was hitting every single one reliably. And I saw over the internet, I saw multiple reports of hand cannons feeling more reliable than they used to be before this patch, because you're consistently hitting those follow-up shots and you're able to stay on target. Even though they did reduce the aim assist and magnetism at longer ranges, you're able to stay on target. Hand cannons, they fit more of that close to medium range combat now, so you're going to feel that damage fall off like we said, but more consistent accuracy is always a good thing.
And before somebody jumps saying those bullets aren't disappearing, Ditty, ghost bullets aren't real, we're talking about the bloom factor. Let's be very specific here so people understand. Bloom is something that is attached to every weapon in this game. It's most notable on hand cannons. If you are firing that weapon very rapidly, the bloom value is going to increase. If you guys played Halo Reach, you saw this with the reticle as it got bigger and bigger when you spammed the trigger. And as that crosshair grew and grew, it was a random chance for where that bullet would land inside of the reticle. That is what bloom is, and essentially that's where the term ghost bullets came from. It doesn't mean that the bullets don't exist, it just means that you need to time your shots, fire a little bit slower, so that you have a greater chance of those bullets hitting directly at the center of your crosshair rather within a specified range. It's not displayed in this game like it was in Halo Reach, but okay, whew. I had to pull the lawyer moment out there, Ditty. I was sweating. I already knew some good ghost bullets. Roar!
My apologies.
Auto rifles. Precision damage modifier is now 1.3, up from 1.25. They increase the base damage of the low rate of fire auto rifles by 2.5% and increase the in-air accuracy. I've heard that Suros is pretty crispy right now after watching some streams today. I think some people are really liking it, so long as you're hitting those precision shots, right?
Yeah, exactly. Have that low rate of fire Suros active, and it just melts. It's good. It's quite good. It would have been amazing. It would have been top tier, people are saying, if it weren't for one of those unintended changes that we'll talk about here in a minute.
So pulse rifles, they reduce the rate of fire for the very high rate of fire pulse rifles, your Clever Dragons and Grasp of Malix. Those are the max rate of fire, lowest impact class, and they reduce that rate of fire by 7.5%. Or 7.7%, excuse me. And then they increase the rate of fire for the low rate of fire pulse rifles by 5.3%. This is the messenger tier. This is the super duper low rate of fire but ultra high impact pulse rifles. And there is right now in the tower, I think it's the Parthian Shot, is that archetype. And you can buy that from the vendor. And apparently it's a pretty solid roll. I was watching Triple Rec use it. Very good for locking down lanes. It's not a weapon for up close and personal usage. But already I've been playing with the Messenger pre-patch. It wasn't terrible, and I think this buff is really going to make this an extremely strong contender for top 3 or 4 archetypes of weapons on this patch. Just my 2 cents on it. Reduce the magazine size of the Clever Dragon and the Grasp of Malak by 6. It's pretty significant. And they reduce the effect of high caliber rounds for pulse rifles, Ditty. Yes!
Finally, yeah. One thing to note here, the Waltz, I think it's the future Waltz.
It was like overlooked.
Or pulse rifle. It's the same archetype as Clever Dragon and Grasp of Malak. It was not affected by the magazine size reduction.
Yeah.
So I believe it still has the rate of fire reduction.
It does.
But the magazine size stays the same. So go ahead and grab one of those.
If you got a sweet Waltz, just keep holding on to that one. And that archetype is still usable. It's not terrible, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, I think they said in the stream, it's like a frame slower. And that's 30 FPS game. That's not going to be too noticeable.
They increase the in-air accuracy for pulse rifles as well as scout rifles. That means when you jump and you shoot, you have a little bit higher chance of those shots going where you're aiming. Shotgun changes, Ditty. Shotguns no longer deal precision damage, but however, the Chaperone and Universal Remote are unaffected by this change. Did we know about that? I think we kind of knew about that, but I'm happy to see it in writing. Chaperone still gets to be the Chaperone.
Yeah, exactly. And Chaperone is very effective at range still. I think there's a couple videos already out there testing that range
Fallout,
as well with the precision damage. And Universal Remote, just a note here, it only deals precision damage when you're aiming down the sights.
That's right. Yeah, I think it's Fallout Plays who is doing a lot of those shotgun range tests after the patch.
Yes.
Shotguns now have significantly less magnetism when fired from the hip. Shotguns have significantly less in-air accuracy, so jumping and shooting is going to be a lot riskier with the shotgun. They no longer have a movement penalty. Shotguns now deal 20% more damage to combatants. Rangefinder on shotguns now increases the ADS time by 25%, which is noticeable. They reduce the Universal Remote's magazine size to 3 from 5, and the Universal Remote now takes longer to reload. So the ADS changes we knew about last week. We're going to have to test this whole thing out. I am confused about a couple of these things, but I'm not really going to offer much feedback until we test it. What are your initial thoughts here?
At first I was confused because I didn't know the context for some of these changes. Like the movement penalty, we'll see a little bit later on. There's an adjustment to a perk, and I think that's one of the contexts for one of these. But previously, shotguns, the ready period after sprinting, jumping, those kinds of things, I believe that is the movement penalty that they have removed, as well as... No, yeah, that's it.
That's
the Universal Remote from to 3 from 5 is interesting. We'll see how it plays because Universal Remote is it was not as popular as it once was in the Crucible. So we'll see how that change affects everything.
The Young Wolf's Howl reduced Howling Flames ammo costs from 10 to 5. Are you happy about this one?
I never saw it used except for Sassy's one clip in Trials where he got a double kill with a single slam. So that's good, I guess. Yeah.
And then Truth. Oh, boy. They reduced the magazine size of Truth from 3 to 1. Goodbye, Truth. You were a fun weapon to use there for a little bit. I guess I'll just have to use one of the other tracking rocket launchers that I have. Oh, is that tripod? Oh, welcome to the family, sir. No, this change is like... What was the tweet that you saw on Reddit today? Somebody saying that Truth is now... What are they calling it?
Truth has now been demoted to alternative fact.
Oh, nice. The meme is strong with that one.
I don't take credit for that. I tweeted it out earlier today, but this is a huge hit to Truth. Truth was so good because you had the 3 in the chamber ready to use, but now it's 1. I think originally in Vanilla Destiny, magazine size was 2, and then it was buffed to 3 to kind of balance out against the Galahorn in year 1. But this is, oh man, that is rough.
That little Truth line was from Gudis Jar, by the way, on Reddit. Shout out, good sir. Class changes. They reduce the health of Guardians with armor values above 10. So if you're running max armor, your health has been reduced a little bit, and this lines up with the next 2 points here. They increase the damage of Flux Grenade, Magnetic Grenade, and Shoulder Charge to ensure effectiveness across all armor values. So apparently the Flux Grenade, and I think the Magnetic Grenade, was inconsistent in regards to, I think it did just 200 damage flat. Was that the Flux or the Magnetic? Whatever. One of those two did 200 flat, and now that they're putting this in line to where it guarantees the kill if it attaches, I think. So
Yeah, exactly. So it's just making those sticky grenades a little bit more consistent across the board.
Blink now disables your radar and HUD for a short time after activation. Why would they do this?
This one's really confusing. I don't know why. I think they're trying to get rid of the really quick movement abilities in the Crucible and making it a little bit more, giving it more risk rather than reward for just to use it to get in your face. Not being able to see where your enemy is as soon as you get to that new location after the blink activates, and knowing where they are, using your radar and everything. I think they just thought it was a little bit too powerful, so they just want to make it a little bit more risky when you're blinking towards the enemy.
Totally. Then we have the Hunter changes. Throwing Knife now deals solar damage on impact. You're probably a little excited about that, but the next bit, you're totally not. Hungering Blade with a little asterisk next to it, which we talk about soon. It immediately starts your health regen. It restores more health per kill, gives a flat amount of health and shields per activation. It does not immediately start regenerating shields like it previously did. The Blade Dancer's Quick Draw perk no longer readies your weapons instantly, but now grants a large increase to weapon handling speed. So Quick Draw is gone from the Blade Dancer Quick Draw perk, right? And that is going to be the same thing too with the Viper Totemic perk on the Ophidian Aspects for Warlocks. It no longer readies your weapon instantly. So it looks like they're getting rid of like that global Quick Draw thing. But now it grants a large increase to weapon handling speed. Ditty, we're going to touch on the Hungering Blade changes in a second, but do you want to just real briefly sum up? It doesn't gradually start restoring your shield and health. It's just a flat amount given to you, correct?
Right. So before it did health regen and shield regen instantly at the exact same time. So both would regen immediately. Now it only starts the health regeneration immediately. Plus it gives you a flat amount of health on the kill. So
and that over like it'll go into the shield if the health reaches above that point.
It'll bleed over into the shield as well. Or whatever the reverse of bleed through is. But so say like I get a kill and I'm at 50 health, I would then get 40 additional health. I'm just throwing that number out there. So I would immediately have 90 health, and then it would start regenerating up to 100 or whatever my armor stat is at. And then if I was weak and I was at 90 health, then it would get plus 40, which would be like 100 plus 30 shield or whatever. So a little bit of a difference there.
Yes, so for Warlocks, they did nerf the Thunderstrike melee range for Stormcallers, and Amplitude will still grant you a small range boost if you have that perk selected, but it's on top of that new less base range, and Landfall now reduces the total time in Storm Trance. I saw some testing videos from Patrick Casey on this. It looks like Amplitude is still hitting at some pretty juicy ranges, we'll just put it that way. Until I have more time to test, I won't be able to judge that. Titans. Juggernaut is now disabled after being in the air for a short time and cannot be activated while in mid-air. This is a specific thing to skaters. If you're going to want Juggernaut to activate, keep your feet on the ground. That's how it's going to be. Outbreak Prime no longer triggers the corruption spreads by shooting at Ward of Dawn. Shinobu's Vow no longer adds an additional seeker to the skip grenades. I kind of like that one. Removed the intrinsic perk knee pads and Icarus on some talent grids. Fixed an issue where high caliber rounds was not functioning properly on hand cannon, scout rifles, machine guns, and sniper rifles, which, like, if you're getting hit with a sniper with HCR, there's other perks. You don't use HCR on your sniper rifle, man. Seriously. All right, Ditty, you want to take this one? Because this is like the big news out of the patch, the unintended consequences of this Hungering Blade change.
So the Hungering Blade, I'm going to quote here from the article because I think it can't be said any better. Hungering Blade changes were also inadvertently applied to the following perks. For more information, check this post, which we'll go over in just a second. So Transfusion on the Striker Titan. So when you get a melee or a shoulder charge kill, it starts health regeneration. That's affected by this change. Cauterize on the Sunbreaker Titan. Whenever you kill someone with a solar ability, it starts health regeneration. Lifesteal, which is the melee for the Voidwalker Warlock. That's affected by this change. Red Death perk.
No!
And Soros Regime as well. The health regen on both of those weapons. No backup plans. Ward of Dawn cast. The Ram. Apotheosis Veil, which if you don't know what that is, because practically nobody uses it. It's a Warlock helmet that starts your health regeneration on Super Activate. And Embrace the Void with the Voidwalker Warlock is affected by this change as well. All of those perks originally started health and shield regeneration when you got a kill with those abilities. No longer the case.
Yeah, it's the flat thing now, which I just think that's so funny when somebody's gonna just pop the Ward of Dawn and it's just like, bloop. It's like, what the heck? The test team found out about this prior to hotfix 2502 going live. And here's the quote from Josh Hamrick. Over the last couple of days, we continued to test the patch. It came to our attention that the changes we made to Hungering Blade were unintentionally shared among a number of additional elements. While we considered delaying the hotfix to remove the shared change, we ultimately decided to live with the patch we'd made and tested. We believe that hotfix 2502 is an important step forward to maintaining the health of the game, and that getting it out ASAP is in everyone's best interest, and besides, nobody wants to show up empty-handed on Valentine's Day, end quote. So they found out about this probably over the weekend, like in between the stream and this thing going live, and it's like, oh dang, Spaghetti Code strikes again, Ditty.
Yeah, exactly, and they ultimately decided to live with the patch.
So I went back, well, I mean, no, I said live the second time after I edited it. Look, there's some other typos in that little statement. What do you feel about this? They are working on a hotfix for this, by the way, and they're going to fix it as soon as they can. So you know what that means? By the time June or July gets here, boom, it's gone. It's fixed in the blink of an eye.
Hopefully this is fixed before
Destiny 2.
Destiny 2, yeah, sure. Let's just say that. But like this tells us like they probably made this change somewhere farther up the chain than intended. Like think of a line of dominoes, right? And the last domino in the chain is the Hungering Strike perk. Well, they made the change 5 dominoes previous, and the rest of them were affected, or I guess it's 12 here.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm okay with the fact that they're all affected by this because it doesn't mean that Blade Dancer is just put in the grave. Nobody puts baby in the corner, right? So it's not the only thing affected by that. That's what kind of made me angry. It's just like, well, you're affecting that, but not dealing with Cauterize or the Lifesteal or anything like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how it actually plays out with all of the other perks as well.
Yeah, the way it was phrased during the stream too, where he said, I found this really annoying when he was talking with Deej. It's like, I found this really annoying, so we were going to make this change. It's like, did Blade Dancers really need this? I don't know if you talk to like the broader Hunter community or even the other rest of like the PvP community if they would have jumped out of their seats saying, yes, Hungering Blade is BS and I hate it. Get it rid of it. I just think it's so funny because Red Death sucks so bad. Like to see this getting another thing just...
Now this is unintentionally nerfed because of the change. It's interesting, but it also, the last phrase, the last sentence here in this addendum to the patch notes. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a first date with a potential scory fix.
That's good. That's pretty good.
So this issue made them think, okay, maybe we can fit a scory fix in as well when we hotfix this a little bit later on. To me, it just seems like, the QA testers, they found it and they're like, we just want to not do the patch. Or they can just not do this change in the patch. But they just said, no, let's just go ahead and see how it works. That's concerning.
Destiny 2, you and I both hope that they're going to add a PTR, a public test realm, so that the community can hop in here. It's a specific playlist with the new settings and we can grind it out. And things like these would get weeded out instantly. And we're going to talk about that now too, because somebody on Twitter was finding out with the new special ammo economy, if you have the Rescue Mag perk, you can do a very interesting glitch in which you throw one of your grenades. Let's say you're a Titan, throw it on the wall, it sticks, you take a bunch of damage, then you Titan skate, or Twilight Garrison, into the wall with enough momentum to take 1 damage. That gives you a full magazine of special ammo. Now imagine that in Trials, and you're now dealing with 3 Titans who all have special ammo. Not a game-breaking thing, and it probably won't be abused very much in 6v6. However, this was found like right away. If you have a PTR, it makes Bungie's testing job so much easier. Yes, it opens up the floodgates to a boatload of criticism to their design changes, but I think ultimately you get a better product.
For those of you who don't know, Rescue Mag, it has a chance to grant you a free magazine of ammo if you're critically wounded. So you start with 0 ammo in your shotgun, and then you do the thing that BBK just said, damage yourself for 1 damage, and it can grant you that full magazine. And like you said, with the PTR, I think it would be so great because you have so many people in the community thinking about these different things as you announce a patch. You're like, okay, what special ammo changes, what perks affect special ammo economy. Rescue Mag, I totally forgot that was a thing until I saw this. I'm like, oh, yeah, Rescue Mag wasn't useful ever, and now it's a very niche perk that you can utilize in these competitive game modes, and that's concerning.
Yeah, shout outs to Calico on Twitter. He was the guy who posted the video showing this thing off, and I guarantee you that guy was thinking about this prior to the patch going live. I don't think he just stumbled upon this. He wanted to test this out after the special ammo economy. Like a little alarm bell in his head rang. I would have never thought of that. You would have never thought of that. PTR is that beautiful place where the hive mind can just work on these really random things and refine the patch before it goes live. Well, that's about it for 2502. There is another glitch going on, though, Ditty, that we want to encourage our listeners not to do in PvP. What is this? And this was around prior to 2502.
Yeah, so this was actually posted on Monday. They found a glitch where, specifically for the Sunbreaker Titan and the Blade Dancer Hunter, there's an infinite super glitch. You can throw infinite hammers, you can blade dance forever, I guess until you die, but it involves a sparrow, it involves popping your super, and then you just don't use any super ammo. Your super recharges like normal as you continue to throw hammers or blade dance across the map. And it's totally doable. And they thought maybe the patch will adjust this change. Nope, it's still live. So hopefully there's a hotfix coming for that, because it did gain a ton of momentum across the internet this past week. So hopefully Bungie is like, oh, yeah, that's a problem. So don't do it if they haven't patched it already, because these types of glitches, if you do it in PvP or PvE, they can get you banned, they can block your account, and all that progress is just wiped. So don't recommend doing that at all.
Yeah, just shy away from it in PvP. I think it's funny, too. I think the weekly playlist is Combined Arms.
Combined Arms, yeah.
Yeah, so sparrows.
For any map that you can spawn your sparrow in on, this glitch is possible. So that's, it's concerning. Hopefully Trials is not first light again this week, because that would be an issue. I wouldn't put it past them, though.
Yeah, it would be all. I don't know. I don't know what to think just yet. This weekend is going to be fun. This whole next 2 or 3 weeks is the best time of PvP. If this is your first time playing Destiny on a new patch, play with things that you want to play with, because this is that perfect time before anything settles down. And I know Ditty and I tonight, we're going to go grind away. There are some negatives, I think, in this patch. Those unintended changes, it's a little bit disappointing that those got through. But overall, for me, I'm ready for change. Even if it's not perfect change, a lot of these things excite me. It seems like many of the PvP community reaction, I've been watching Triple Wreck this afternoon and a couple of other streamers, seems fairly positive. So let's give this a chance. We'll come back with our thoughts next week, and we'd love to know what you guys think about this patch as well. Send us a tweet over on our Twitter account at Destiny the Show, or you can have a conversation with us on our Discord, discord.me/Destiny the Show. Ditty, where can people find you if they want to join in your delicious memeing?
Twitter.com/Ditty, DTS, DITTY, DTS, and YouTube.com/Wooshness, WOOOSHNESS, where you'll find probably a little bit more discussion about this patch, because I just thought this is going to be the sidearms' time to shine, and nobody has really given them a chance. They've always been pretty good, but they've just been outshined by other special weapons. So hopefully we'll see some nice sidearm plays across the internet for the next couple weeks.
Excellent. You guys can find all the links from today's show and more on destinytheshow.com. You can follow me at BBKDRAGOON on Twitter and on YouTube. Have a good week. Enjoy the patch. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.